So I am one of the video business development managers within EMEA, and I'm here to talk to you about our video portfolio. We recently acquired an organisation called Radvision. Radvision is an organisation I know very well because I joined Avaya from Radvision 2 years ago, before they made the formal acquisition. So I'm meeting a lot of old friends in terms of colleagues, but also old friends in terms of the products and the technology behind it. How many people here have heard of the name Radvision before, prior to perhaps this meeting, or? Okay. So relatively few of you. How many people here have heard of the name Polycom, Tandberg, Lifesize? Right. Far more of you. The reason why most of you will not have heard of the name Radvision is because traditionally Radvision was an OEM supplier to those self-same companies. So they were an OEM supplier to Tandberg, they were an OEM supplier to Polycom, OEM supplier to Lifesize, OEM supplier to Cisco, OEM supplier to Sony, OEM supplier to Aetra as well. And now we've actually bought them, so we have that technology in our portfolio as well. The first thing I want to do is just tell you very quickly about what I'm going to cover. The demo, and I'll show you that it just works. I'll be going through the reasons why you should, in general, look at video conferencing as a whole, and why, in particular, Avaya's take on video conferencing. Then I'll go through the products in terms of what they consist of, the different components therein, the boring techie bit, and then we can take any questions, field any queries from the floor. So, firstly, I'll just say it works. The great thing about this solution is that whatever you happen to be using, iPad for example, iPhone, Android device, PC, Mac, proper room-based system, don't really care. It just works. It allows you to join that conference. So I'm going to join my own personal video conference room through this system here, which is a room-based system. You might be familiar with the likes of this from people like Polycom, Tandberg, and so on, Cisco now. And what I'll do is I'm just going to dial into my video conference room. There we go. That long number there is actually based on my telephone number, so 00441483309902, and the 711 is just a precursor to tell it to go to that particular resource, which is an MCU. So I'll dial into here. Great. Let's dial this one. 130044483309902. See if that works. Gatekeeper not available. Thank you very much indeed, IT. So, all right, I don't give a damn though. So let's say this doesn't work, which we've just seen. It requires infrastructure in the background to be available. Now, if somebody's unplugged an Ethernet cable, I will be mightily peed off.
Just checking.
Gatekeeper not available. All right, so we can't do it on this. How many of you are familiar with video conferencing solutions like this? Okay. Quite a few people will be familiar with something like this, and will be familiar with maybe not this particular problem happening where the gatekeeper is not available thanks IT, but they don't know how to use this, and they would normally call somebody from the tech department to come and fix it. So this isn't available to me. Oh, I can't do a video conference. Sod that. I will do the video conference on this. So, if I could just ask the people on this call to introduce themselves. I should be getting audio from here as well. I'll just check. There we go. So, could you introduce yourself, please?
Yeah. Welcome. Good morning, everybody. I'm Markus Pletscher from Germany. I'm using the same equipment as Julian has. I have an XT5000 and use that camera and a screen in my home office.
Where is your home office,
I'm working
Markus?
with Julian. My home office is located in Hanover in Germany.
Ganz toll. So, Markus is in the rare privileged position of actually having a working one of these. So well done to the Germans for getting IT that works. I know it's a stereotype, but there you go. So Markus is using what is essentially a fairly expensive piece of equipment, which is normally destined to room-based systems, like a conference room like this, if you can obviously get IT to make it work. But he's using it at home. Now, that's not going to be the average environment that most of you will be allowing. You will be allowing communication through more standards-based devices, more commonplace. And what you will have discovered now is... But what we've just demonstrated there is Marcus is dialing in on an XT5000. Paul, what are you on over there?
I'm on my iPad.
You're on the iPad. Matilda, what are you on? You're on
I've got an iPad and I'm giving stuff from my iPhone.
Okay, you're on my phone. I've got a PC here. Does anyone happen to have brought in a Mac by any chance? No? Otherwise, we would demonstrate it working on a Mac as well. How difficult is this to launch? Well, it's really quite simple. I'll show you here. All we need is a web browser inside your Android or iOS device. You then click on a link which will normally be sent to you via email, but in this case I've actually saved the links to the rooms. You click on the link, you are taken to a landing page. If you don't have the application in your PC already, you will be prompted to go and download that application, whether it's in the App Store or the Google Play Store, or if it's a PC or an Apple application, Apple Mac application, downloaded directly from the server. It installs without administration privileges. It has firewall traversal built in, so it doesn't matter where you are, you will be able to be connected. And then you just press Join Meeting. And this will launch the application on your PC, on your Mac, on your iOS, on your Android tablet, wherever you happen to be in the world, and you will join into the video call, like so. The first thing you'll notice is I've joined, but you can't see me because I've chosen to initially start as a lurker in these meetings. So I don't let people immediately see or hear me because I work from home. You get the... And some of these calls start at ridiculously early hours where the most sane people aren't dressed. So I start lurking initially and say, yes, I'm on the call, thanks everyone. Dun, dun, dun. I'll just go on mute now. Dun, 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 dun. And then I can join the call properly. But as you can see, despite this particular problem here, which isn't, all right, shouldn't be something that you encounter, but a lot of people encounter the difficulty of not knowing how to use that equipment. They look at that remote control, they look at that device there, they see the menu and they go, I'll call someone. And they'll try and get someone from IT. We don't need anyone from IT to come and fix this problem. We've all joined in on various devices. Marcus has kindly joined over from Germany through the device as well. And we're now having a face-to-face video call over Wi-Fi, Ethernet, across the world, different devices. Okay, Marcus and the rest of you, thank you very much indeed. Marcus, thank you very much indeed for waiting and participating. Thank you again, mate.
You're very welcome.
Okay.
Have a good day, Julian.
Cheers. Bye-bye. And what I'm going to do now is I'm very going to quickly just going to terminate the meeting from here. Boom. So I'm terminating the meeting. Everyone's gone. And I've done that from an iPad. So when we start talking about bring your own device, that's what we're enabling. We're enabling video conferencing, not just on these executive systems, which are the preserved traditionally of a dedicated video conference room or expensive facilities, but a more commonplace experience for everyone to participate and benefit from video conferencing. So hopefully what I've done there is just got that question out of the way first. It just works, despite some IT problem in the background. So why should you buy into the idea of video conferencing? How many people here already have video conferencing in their organization? 3, 4, okay. Not sure, or a little bit of video conferencing? Not much?
Does anyone use Skype?
Yeah.
Well,
okay.
That was my next point.
Sorry,
That's fine, it's fine, it's fine. So, some of you already understand the benefits of video conferencing. So some of this stuff is going to be obvious to you. To the rest of you, it might be enlightening. So these are a few universal truths which just point to the general subject of video conferencing being pertinent for companies to take on board. Then I'll go through the particularities of the Avaya solution, why we're more attractive than the others. So, there's only 24 hours in the day, and barring any minor variations in Earth's spin or a comet hit, that's not going to change. It's not going to get any longer. We're not being asked to do less work-wise than we were asked to do yesterday or yesteryear. Okay, we're not people saying, "Whoa, slow down on the productivity, dude." It's not like any Far Eastern company is coming up through the ranks and is going to steal our jobs. Relax, chill, take a holiday. That's not. I'm sorry. No one here from France. No, that's fine. Congestion. No, France is the. Yeah, they couldn't make it. They had to use up their additional days of bon vivant. Congestion on roads and fuel prices are increasing and not decreasing. Okay, we go to the fuel pumps, we're paying more and more every single time. The roads is not as if, wow, I started at 7 o'clock this morning, everything was completely clear. I had a journey on the M4 and then the M25 without any hiccups whatsoever. It's not easy to find today a phone or a PC without a camera built in. Anyone here have a PC without a camera? Anyone here have?
Oh, yeah.
There are certain people within technology organisations who are still fighting the good fight. How many people here do not? This one you can't do. How many people here do not have a phone with a camera? Right. Who remembers Amstrad's video phones from the late 1980s? Okay, those products, whilst technically they would give you a sort of video conference solution, the market wasn't ready. Users weren't ready to adopt it. The notion back then of a phone call early in the morning and having to do your makeup or brush your hair or whatever was just anathema. You could not take that call. Today, how many people here do not use video for conversations in their personal life? Again, some people fighting the good fight. Carry on, carry on. But generally, those problems have gone. Those obstacles to adopting video have disappeared. That last mile, that little bit of bandwidth towards the home, generally in Western Europe, it's perfectly acceptable for video. User acceptance, hey, you try and get a 20 or a tweenie to not use video conferencing, not use video chat. Impossible. It's part of their lifestyle in the same way that perhaps when some of us were children, we were the ones who were programming the VCR for our parents. Now the new generation has come on board, they totally get video, and if they arrive in an organisation and find, okay, mobile phone, yeah, fine, I'll use my own, thank you. The nasty little desk laptop, dudes, I'm rocking an XPS or a Mac, Air, seriously, thanks, but I was using better at uni. And what do you do for video here? Nothing. So I can't use for professional reasons what I can use in my personal life. That just doesn't make sense. That whole thing has been flipped on its head. Where previously job with a mobile phone. Wow, I've really made it. Now it's a job with a mobile phone. No thanks, just give me the SIM. That's all I really want. The more people that can use a solution, the more valuable and pertinent that solution becomes. If you can only talk to people on those types of systems, and granted, if you can actually use that type of system at any given point in time, IT, the more people you can use, the more valuable that solution becomes. You make, let's say you're Alexander Graham Bell, you make one phone, useless. You can't talk to anyone, it's useless. Make two, oh, suddenly I don't need to walk to the parlour. You make 3, 4, 5. When everyone in the world has a phone, that's incredibly useful. That becomes truly powerful. The internet, or a social media solution, if that's only in a university, it's limited in its value. Once you open it to the entire world, you suddenly become Facebook, and it's a really valuable and truly pertinent solution. Most organisations don't know exactly how much video conferencing they're going to use. And the idea of buying a video conferencing solution and paying for an individual license for every single person is something that they will sometimes choke on, because they don't know, in order to enable video conferencing for everybody, I have to buy the solution for everybody. And I don't know if everyone's going to use the solution. So it's a catch-22. Do I invest a load of money and hope that they use it, or do I invest a little bit of money and not allow anyone to use it, or only allow a restricted group to use it? So ideally you want something that starts small but doesn't prevent you from using it in a wider context or from growing that solution. Any organisation with knowledge-based workers will benefit from video conferencing. So if you are a window cleaner, you're not really knowledge-based, you're not really going to find video conferencing particularly useful. If you are a manufacturer that has people that actually deal with the knowledge of that manufacturing process, that becomes useful. If you are furthermore geographically distributed across a city, across a county, across a country, or across continents, and those employees include highly salaried employees, then that video conferencing solution becomes even more pertinent. Does anyone disagree with these general truths? Paul? No. No? Okay. So, let's talk about business wants and demands. You demand a solution that has a quick ROI. If I come to you and say this will pay itself back in 2 years, given this financial climate, your reaction might be limited. If I tell you it's any longer, you'll probably say, no thanks, thanks a lot, lovely meeting. So you need something that has got a quick ROI, that's going to give the accountants something to chew on and really think about. Something that's going to save money on travel, food, lodging costs, even real estate. We've closed an office. We closed our Maidenhead office, and we saved a load of money there in real estate. We also prevented the normal attrition that one would get through video conferencing, because people were started working from home and didn't feel that detachment from the living room. Increasing efficiency and productivity. When you use video conferencing, you will increase the effectiveness of relationships. And I'm not talking about video conferencing through these sorts of solutions, which are rarefied experiences. But I'm talking about video conferencing here on the desktop, which you mentioned earlier on, that you initially were kind of, is this really going to help? But now, what's your experience?
Yes, I do remote demonstrations via that now.
How many of your audio conferences have you, what percentage of your audio calls have changed to video?
Probably about 60%.
Right. And would you agree that generally, are you having more meetings with customers because now you can do them via video?
Yes, because if I hadn't done them via video, I wouldn't have done them at all.
Right. Are you having shorter calls? Do you experience that? Because people are taking, no? Some people have reported that calls take less time because there's more of that sense of ownership during the call. You can put an action to a face, to a name, rather than just being this disembodied voice on the phone and you kind of going, yeah, right, sure, but not really.
But you can also see if people are actually
listening.
That's
and people listen because they can't. They will be seen if they're just, if they put themselves on mute on an audio call and start doing email or start working on a PowerPoint presentation, which I know none of you do, but you've met these people, you've met them. You might have people who are taking another phone call, and you generally encounter in an audio call, sorry, could you repeat that? We're a bit quiet. Yeah, right, you weren't actually listening to what I was saying, and so you need me to repeat. In video, it's quite obvious when somebody isn't paying attention, and so generally people do pay attention because they want to be singled out or remarked upon. New business opportunities. Dependent on what you do, there are certain additional revenue streams that video conferencing could enable for you. If you're in medicine, you could enable telemedicine. If you deliver training courses to customers, you could now deliver those via video conferences. You could have a contact center, and you could now create a video contact center. You could have meetings with. I found one very interesting one in the legal profession, and it was in a group of lawyers who were providing a no-win, no-fee service. But for them to go and meet the customer, their client, who was a personal injury claim, and so therefore could claim that I can't travel because of this severe whiplash that I got when somebody bumped into me with a trolley. They, instead of travelling the 2 hours into London, having the 1 hour meeting with the client, and then coming back and billing them for that 1 hour, they could now do that call in 1 hour via video and do another call afterwards via video and still bill that customer, but rack up far more revenue during the day than they would have done otherwise. You look at executive decisions. Sometimes organizations from the top down just impose a new mandate. They've read a business magazine, they've been on a flight, they've read the in-flight brochure, they're looking at Forbes and they say, video, that's what the cool guys are doing at the golf club, that's what I'm going to have. But there are some useful aspects to this. They could be enabling video in each one of their locations through something like this. They could be enabling video for their direct reports, so that when it comes to the numbers, they can see the sweat on that person's brow and realize what's the reality behind the words. Sometimes organizations are buying video conferencing just to fix and improve on what they currently have installed. They might need a technology refresh because they only had standard definition products before, and they see the benefit of higher definition for those room systems. They might want to add features such as recording, streaming, integrated with the UC platform, or enable bring your own device. So anyone disagree with these in general, or want to add anything in terms of general business demands? Why you might buy the solution? Feel free to. I really want to nail down as much as possible the requirements that you have in general terms. If you think there's anything else, if you can come up with anything.
There's an interesting point. I mean, obviously video is visual communication, but what about sharing of applications, presentation, desktop share?
I would say that's increasing efficiency and productivity.
I completely agree.
Because I could send you screenshots, yeah. I could talk you through on a phone,
yeah.
But if I replace it via video, I think I'm just making that more efficient and productive.
It's an experience I had myself going back probably, it was about 10 years ago. We were selling a software product. We ran an exhibition up at Olympia. I taught there. We had 140 leads in 2 days, which was brilliant. And then
But you need to demonstrate it to them.
We absolutely need to demonstrate it. So I'm on the way home, and I get the first phone call. Can you be in the Lake District tomorrow for 9 o'clock to
easy, no problem.
Exactly.
The roads are clear.
So I did. Over the space of 4 months, it's 3 months. I did 40 demonstrations of this software, and the decision-making process was so quick because we could bring people, specialists from our business in, people in from the customer. So actually arranging a meeting across 2 organisations and different skill sets and resource is really hard to do. Actually using collaboration technologies, we were able to bring people in, they could jump out when they were done and had the information they needed. So the coverage, it was something like 13,500 miles I didn't have to drive. So I was able to run all that from the desk, and so a lot of time saved, 250 hours drive time. Yeah, it was a no-brainer.
Quicker decision making, shorter calls, more meetings, and probably new business opportunities.
Yeah, and I tell you what was really interesting is when we were getting got the first orders through, we were then looking at with customers the prototyping through the project phase, and then we were actually generating increased sales because people were seeing it before it was deployed, really bought into it. We were then adding additional development and additional licensing.
So, for you having
from behind the desk.
Right. So you didn't. Have, so you appeal to various of these categories.
Yeah.
Give you an anecdotal one. When I was working at Radvision, at one point I had to travel to Spain to see a relative or a friend's uncle who was very ill, and this friend and I, we were on the driving in the car from Madrid Barajas Airport to, I think, Logroño, and we're driving on this road about 3 hours to go and see them. And he's telling me about his week, and I was saying, how's business, how's work? And he said, oh yeah, it's really busy, really busy. I had 4 meetings last week. 4. I was like, 4? You say, really? Oh, that must have been hellish. But that's the day, a week in the life of a travelling salesperson. 4, you spend one day just going through the reports and doing all the back office stuff on Salesforce.com and your reports and so on. I could tell him I did 3 on Monday morning across Finland, Spain and France, and then I went and had lunch. And then the afternoon I had another couple of meetings, and I spent bugger all time on the whatever. I didn't spend all the time looking at my dashboard and away from the family. We talk about work-life balance.
What's that?
It's easy nowadays. It's easy nowadays. The only thing now is I need to put a screen to stop the little 2-year-old from seeing me and going, Papa. But you deal with that. You deal with that. Screen off, or build a big shed at the back. But in terms of work-life balance, you know, I've got a 2-year-old and I've got an 8-week-old, and if I had to travel to deliver the training courses that I delivered for 400 people around EMEA, if I had to travel, put it this way, we'd be separated by now. That would be you know, a single parent family, and I'd be, you know, paying alimony and I'd be paying child support and so on. But instead, I can say, darling, I'm just going to have a meeting with 30 people across EMEA, somewhere in Russia, somewhere in Germany, somewhere in Spain, France, I don't really know, but we're all talking via video. And then the only place I needed to go was London, funnily enough. That was the only place I really needed to go. So it does change, or it brings you all of these advantages. From an accounting point of view, in this financial climate, you will find very few solutions that have an ROI like video conferencing in terms of its rapidity, its speed of bringing that cost back to you. So you look at other solutions that we talk about months or years of return on investment. With video conferencing, depending on your utilization, you could have a return. I found one customer that I sold the first Elite, which is the MCU, one of the products, and I'll go through it, 2 meetings. They made that investment back in 2 meetings. Everything else, bonus. So in these financial times, having a solution with a very, very quick, easily provable ROI is really, really interesting for any organization. And any organization that is knowledge-based and is distributed, that doesn't have a video conferencing solution, you are missing a trick. You owe it to your organization and your shareholders to consider it. So,
sorry, Julian, can I just intercept? Maybe it'll come out in a discussion later on, but a few of the audience said that they were, you know, in answer to a question of video conferencing, some said using Skype. So will you kind of, you know, I'm interested to know, I suppose, how they're using Skype within their business and the potential flaws in that kind of solution.
Skype,
as well.
I'm not going to diss Skype yet. Skype is a really, really good solution. It was, it was the first thing that I was using for easy video conference. No, actually, no, I was really, really early because I was using CUC-Me by Cornell University. And if you then look inside RadVision's product portfolio, you look at the actual name of the application. When you open the task manager, you see it's called CU Core. So I was using the RadVision solution before RadVision actually started using it themselves. So when I joined the company, I said, I know this stuff from early on from a product called CUC-Me. But Skype, not going to diss it yet. It is a very, very good starting point for video conferencing, but there are limitations with Skype. Firstly, in terms of the number of participants that you can get on that call, it is massively limited. So I think it's 4, even in the Pro version on PC, it's limited to 4. If you're trying to use it from a mobile device, you can't do it. You can't have a multi-party meeting on a mobile device like Android or iOS. Let's say they fix that. You can't have a gateway, you can't use it natively with a room system. So that investment that you've got in, some of you have got in room-based systems, forget it, tough luck. In terms of security, if you're dealing with knowledge, how important is that knowledge to you? Now, you might consider it's just meetings and I don't really have competitors for whom it's financially viable to pay for former Soviet bloc hackers to listen in on my conversations, or to place somebody outside sniffing the packets on the, by clamping onto the cables and reading the electromagnetic signals, or picking up stuff off the airways. If you're dealing with information which is not vital like that, and you don't need multi-party, and you don't need mobile multi-party, and you don't need room systems, and you don't need encryption, and you don't need standards-based recording for compliance, fine. I've got no problem with it. At home, I use it all the time. Sometimes I invite, whenever I invite my family to use Skype, they think I'm doing a sales job on them. I go, no, seriously, we can all chat. No, oh please, I'm not trying to sell it to you. You work in a greengrocer's. I'm not going to sell it to you. So Skype, I use all the time. I have no problem against Skype. However, for those, if you fall into those categories where you need multi-party, you need integration with room system, you need security in the form of encryption, you need recording for compliance, you want to enable bring your own device with multiple participants, and you want to have lots of different meetings with lots of people anywhere, it doesn't meet those requirements. The person needs to have a Skype account, so if they're in business they might not be able to use it across their network because it's not secure and it makes your network vulnerable to certain things. So therefore inside some organisations they block Skype. Anyone here blocking Skype within their network? Right, so you've already gone through that analysis and you worked out that for you, it's not permissible. So just look around. I'm not going to diss it though, except I just have. But I've given you the reasons for it. If you don't fall into those categories, go for it. Fill your boots, it's cheap as chips, do it. And in your personal life, go for it, as long as you're not doing anything really compromising that somebody might actually lead you. Which you're not. So why should you look into this solution from Avaya? Why should you? I mean, video conferencing we've kind of accepted does have an advantage to play within your organizations because of all the advantages that I mentioned before. But what is it about Avaya solution that makes it interesting? Well, one is it's license free. So I could send you all out that invitation. You could join. You're not costing me anything for that license. We never speak again. I've not spent any money on you that you've kind of taken and I've wasted. You use it, you don't use it again, fine. It is device agnostic, PC, Mac, iOS or Android, I don't care. You want to go on a room system, I don't care. You can still join that meeting. Firewall traversal built in, so you could be in your own organization, you could be in a hotel, you could be working from home, you could be working on a partner location, but it will go through that firewall and hit my network and be able to participate in that video call. I don't need to arrange between the IT departments to open up ports between us so that we can enjoy video conferencing. It's an admin-free install, so if you are preventing your users from adding software to their particular machines, this generally will not be hindered by that restriction. So this addresses the issue of the more people that use it, the better the solution becomes. You can use it on more devices than other people, you can use it in more scenarios than other people, and it will work on more people's PCs than other solutions will. When we talk about most organizations not knowing how well video is going to be accepted within their organization, and therefore they don't want to buy it and spend all that money as if they were really, really serious about it, but they want to start small but grow big, our solution is easily expandable, it is reusable, it is geographically redundant, it is automatically cascading. So you start with one product, and then you think, actually, that product I'm now sharing across the entire organization. Everyone can use it. I only need to buy another one if it becomes popular. And I'm going to buy another one. Do I need to forklift that other one out? No. I will now deploy it in one of my other locations. So I've got geo-redundancy. This site goes down, all of the calls go there. I've now got this automatic cascading of additional resource. So if this meeting that's taking place here is oversubscribing that particular resource, fine. The management system will move some of these users during the course of the meeting without any interruption to the video or the audio flow. We'll move them to the other MCU and we'll bridge between the two. So it's what you buy now is protected in terms of your investment. If you expand, if you relocate, if you add more users, as you find the solution growing, you can still start small, but you can expand it as large as you like. So no component that you buy gets thrown away because you're needing to buy a bigger one or buy more. We also have an exciting future direction and integration with Aura and IP Office. So I take it here most people are IP Office users, correct? Aura?
No,
not all.
Stone Age.
Come on in! The water's lovely. I'll show you some of the cool stuff on the audio side of it. With our audio portfolio, we have integration of these products, of this video component, so that you can dial them as a straightforward telephone extension. And so if you don't have a video-enabled device, or you don't have the bandwidth to enable video, you can still hit it through an audio extension as well. Unrivaled quality from the widest choice of devices. That device there, when it's working, admittedly, can give you 1080p 60 frames a second, which is the highest in the industry, short of going for a proper full-blown telepresence room, which will cost you $250,000 to set up, and is an immersive, it's like video conferencing on steroids, but it's not the quickest bang for buck, should we say. But that's the highest quality room system you can get on the market today. It can also do 1080p dual stream. So I can be talking to you at 1080p 60 frames a second, which admittedly makes that not a screen, makes it more like a window to another part of the world. I can also send you content at 1080p 60 frames a second. So if you're developing some videos, if you're developing games, if you're working in telemedicine, I can show you content at that same resolution on the second screen, which I think until a few months ago when Polycom brought out their equivalent, that was unique in the market. And generally, you get more bang for buck from our products than from the competition. But as the advert says, go compare. You don't know yet, I'm saying this, I've got a vested interest in making you buy my solution. You don't believe me? Go out and compare. Look at your environment, what you want to deploy today, get a quotation from these gentlemen here of how much it would cost you with an Avaya RadVision solution, and then go and look at Cisco's solution, go and look at Polycom's solution, go and look at Lifesize's solution, and compare those pricing. But make sure that you're comparing apples to apples, because the one thing that you can find is that if you compare just one component, yes, it might look cheaper from the others, but we will sell you a bundled solution that will give you that mobility, that will give you that firewall traversal, that will give you that management, that will give you that automatic spanning as you grow that solution. What's it comprised of? And I know I've got 5 minutes, correct? 3 or 4 minutes?
Yeah, fine.
Okay, fine. We're just going to go through the entire product portfolio in 3 or 4 minutes. Endpoints, infrastructure. This is the stuff that you interact with. This will be the equivalent to that, the mobile device, the PC, those software clients, or those physical pieces of hardware that are the equivalent of your, if we make this into an analogy with plumbing, this is like the taps, the bath, the sanitary ware, the sinks, the washing machine, the dishwasher. That's what you interact with on a daily basis. This is the infrastructure, the stuff that sits behind the scenes, making it all work. This is like the pumps, the hot water heater, the storage tank. From a technical point of view, this is more important, because if this fails, as we've seen, all of the devices are compromised. Whereas here, if you have an individual failure on one of these devices, it's just that one device that is failing. But we provide the entire board. In terms of the functionality, from telepresence, from bridging, link gateway, hardware endpoints, software endpoints, recording, streaming, ISDN, normally in the UK for legacy solutions, or talking to somewhere in Central or Eastern Europe, and encryption, we've got it all. Interoperability is by default. So I don't know what products you have, but you probably have Polycom, Tambo? Polycom? Polycom. How did I guess? I mean, there was a 3-to-1 chance there. Hit it in one. Don't ask me, I don't know myself. Interoperability is by default. So what you've got in terms of those HDX or previous iterations of room systems, we will natively connect to. That money's safe, it's not going to be thrown away. Unless you want an improvement in that. But you can keep those functioning until you sweat those assets as much as you like. The heart of the video conferencing solution is the bridge. This is where all of the action takes place, and this is where the bulk of the infrastructure costs for multi-party are going into, because these machines have to do a lot of work. So we've got various versions, but remember, you don't have to start with a big one. You could start with a smaller one, add additions of this, locate them wherever you want in your environment, and benefit from automatic geographic redundancy and automatic cascading. We've got a new series of products which are leading edge in terms of 1080p 60 frames a second continuous presence. So you will be able to see on the screen at 1080p 60 frames a second multiple people, each of them transmitting the highest quality video. So for those really high end where you cannot have any compromise on the video quality, we can enable that. But at the same time, we can apply licenses to make those products a lot more flexible. So it's not just limited to 20 of the executive boardrooms, but within a license you can actually make it support 80 of 720p or up to 160 of more desktop modest resolution users. So yes, it will deliver a Learjet type of experience, but at the same time it's the same product that's delivering 160 users for a more standards-based desktop solution. And let me reassure you, the majority of us do not want to be on a 1080p 60 call from the desktop. That is brutal, brutal analysis of your skin structure and your lifestyle choices. It's really, no one wants that sort of position. Endpoints. We have a range of endpoints. This is the daddy of them all, the XT5000, which is not only the flagship product, but is also a very good entry-level product, because with the addition of a license, we can bring in a 4 or 9 port MCU bridge, allow that to provide Scopia Desktop and Scopia Mobile. So if you're an organisation and you think, actually, I'm not yet ready, the funds aren't there to buy a whole solution in terms of an MCU, but I do need at least one video conference room, buy this with the SMB license. We will be integrating it into IP Office, and we'll do special packages for those of you who've got IP Office, so you can buy this for a great, great price. You will then be able to integrate it into there, and you will be able to have 9 participants simultaneously on a call, 1 being the endpoint and 8 participants on a PC, Mac, Android, iOS device. 4200, XT 1200, different price points, different resolutions for smaller rooms. The 1080p, as I said, it's not ideal for a desktop because it's just absolutely brutal inquisition of your lifestyle choices and your skin tone and how you feel and so on. It shows everything up. But it's great for a larger room, because in a larger room, standard definition, anyone here would just be a blur. I wouldn't recognize you. 1080p, I can actually recognize you, and if I meet you later on, I would know who you were. Endpoints, continued on the executive system, we've got the VC240, so if you want a dedicated room system on your desktop, this is your PC screen, but at the same time, it is your video endpoint. We've also extended that with a new version called the XT Executive 240, which includes a higher resolution capability. So if you've got a large, or an executive with a large room, they can have a camera here, but you can also have a higher definition camera over there when he wants to have a meeting inside his office with a few people sitting around a meeting table, and then invite additional participants in on the MCU. Other infrastructure, firewall traversal. Video conferencing will try to make Swiss cheese of a firewall, and most IT directors will say, not happening, not in my network. And so you need something like a firewall traversal solution from us, or LifeSite, or Tandberg, or Polycom, like Transit and TMS. Video gateway for Microsoft Link Gateway. Anyone here using Link? No? Okay. Relevant. Scopia Gateway, IP2, ISDN, or Serial. So this is really going to be for people who are conversing via video with locations typically outside the United Kingdom where IP is less well provisioned. We have the full telepresence immersive video conferencing experience. This is video conferencing on steroids. It is an immersive experience. It feels like you're there with the person, but it doesn't deliver the bang for buck. But if you do want something like this, we've got it, and it is about a third of, not off, the price of our competitor solutions. Scopia Mobile, we've demonstrated on iPhone, on iPad, you can join in. We've also got Android available as well. And yes, you can do a video conference whilst in the car, but Avaya does not recommend the use of video conferencing whilst in charge of a moving vehicle. But I have done a video conference from Guildford to Marlow on my way home. Have the courtesy to turn off the camera just so people don't see what could, in a really bad scenario, arise. That call could be recorded, and you just don't want that legacy being left out. One of the unique features that we have in our product portfolio in this Scopia Desktop and Scopia Mobile is the slider. How many times are you on a conference call where someone is presenting a slide deck? You might be using a collaborative solution, you might be using a video conferencing solution from Polycom, for example, and someone says, could you go back a slide? No, a few more. No, stop there. No, one forward, there. And everyone's interrupted, and you have to fumble back in order to find the presentation, the correct slide. Now, if you've got a touch screen, you just drag the presentation to the right slide, and you can look at it, and you can go back to the current slide. If you join the meeting late, you can play catch up, because all of these are cached on the server, and you can go and pull them down, and you can arrive, see there's all these slides, click on that one, look at that, and really quickly and play catch up. It's a unique feature of our product portfolio. No one else has this, but it's one of those solutions where most people say, this is so logical, so easy. Why didn't we have this before? Why hasn't anyone thought of this? And one thing that it's a subtle change, but in our meetings now, have you noticed that no one asked to go back a slide? It's weird, but before it happened all the time. But now it doesn't. You don't ask to go back a slide because you can do it yourself. You don't need to interrupt the meeting.
Is it back only?
Sorry, no, you can. Yes, you can't go forward in time.
Yeah.
We don't have that full Time Lord control of the.
I'm thinking if you actually cached the presentation slides, so they were loaded and you're moving through the presentation.
No, because this is live live content from someone's desktop.
Fine.
Sorry, I thought you would sort of, go back.
No, because that just was targeted, right?
No, you can't. You have to. You can. It's only going to cache what has been presented, because if I choose not to present a slide, you're not going to see it. Scopia Desktop, PC, Mac from 2003 onwards, OS X onwards, firewall traversal built in. An interesting thing which I forgot to mention, but I demonstrated on the mobile client is When you're using this, you are not just a passive user with no control of the meeting experience. You have administrator or moderator controls. I want to kick someone off, I kick them off. I want to mute someone, I mute them. If I want to block their video, I block their video. If I want to add another endpoint into the meeting, I do it. Sometimes when you talk to traditional video conference users, they say, well, what do I need in terms of a concierge service? Because most users need someone to come in and wipe their nose for them, like this would have done. If this had been a normal system, if we did not have Scopio Desktop, we would have gone this. We've gone, oh, I don't know what to do. Call IT. Someone would have come here and had to fix this. I don't give a damn now. I fire this up and I'm online. One of the rooms is unoccupied and is taking up screen real estate. I kick that room out. Somebody's not connected and I need to dial into the Sydney office or the New York office. I go into invite and I invite that user in. Somebody's creating noise. I don't have to wait for them to figure it out. I just block their audio. So it gives you that power. And once you have that power, you have the confidence to carry on doing more meetings because you know that you can overcome a lot of the issues that normally beset video conferences and require a concierge to come in and wipe your nose. Scopio control, if we didn't have that remote control, if it was lost and we needed to conduct a meeting, we could do it from the iPad. Makes it a lot easier, more approachable to do that meeting and to control it. You have a network, you need to test it to see if video is going to work across that network or if you need to implement any changes. So we have a testing solution that enables you to do that. We have clients that simulate traffic across the network, measure the ping, measure the latency, measure the jitter and so on, and come up with a mean opinion score that gives you a user's perception of how good that video was. If everything is great, leave it as it is. If something's bad, you need to go in there and fix it before your users start to complain that the service is not what it should be. An interesting point from an analyst called Wainhouse Research, when the rumours surfaced just over a year ago, of our intent to acquire RadVision, they said some things in terms of where RadVision came from. So they mentioned that RadVision kind of created video over IP. At one point they were the dominant player in terms of the intellectual property to make video over IP work. Over 80% of the H.323 traffic relied on RadVision protocol stacks to make it work. However, they had only an infrastructure product line. They didn't have the full breadth. They didn't have a channel. Why? Because I've got everything, and I won't do the accents. Who wants me to do my Israeli accent?
Yeah, go for it.
Julian, we don't need endpoints. Endpoints are just commodity items. They don't need them. Seriously. 8 weeks, I buy another one. I don't care. But the important thing that they didn't realize is that customers value the endpoint. That's all they see. Sorry, thank you very much. And I had that conversation and they didn't want to have endpoints because endpoints were commodity items. And as I said, technically, yes, they're not that important. But from a customer's mindshare point of view, most of you don't know RadVision, but you know Polycom and you knew Tandberg, because that's what people use. So, we don't need endpoints. And then suddenly they realize, oh, we need endpoints. We're going to buy endpoints. Julian, no problem, come back. They didn't know channel. Channel, schmannel. We got 50% going through Cisco. We got the Cisco channel. We don't need to create our own channel. What, you mean have a channel certification program that values one channel above another for their expertise in delivering video? Cisco, thank you, no problem. But that world changed when Cisco acquired Tandberg. Avaya on its own, we did not have all of those products to address the market. We had the channel, we had the brand. You join the two together, and as Wainhouse Research says, and they were never a great fan of RadVision because RadVision didn't have the product breadth to really address the market. If Avaya is ready to invest with this acquisition, continue to invest in product development, segment marketing, channel partner training, Avaya could establish itself as a strong number 3 or even threaten Polycom's number 2 position in the marketplace. So on our own, snowball's chance in hell. Together, we've got the product, we've got the technology, we've got the channel, we've got the brand. We absolutely have the ability to take those guys on board. On